Anubhuti, you and I were chatting, and you talked a little bit about your childhood. And probably it's very similar to maybe every story if we sat with each one, whether it's Tamanna's story, whether it's your story, whether it's Rohini's story. I think there is a thread, but we can be inspired by taking the nuances from everyone's story. So you were born in Jharkhand, right?
Yes.
And again, it's an unlikely journey to see a girl from a small town be here
Almost
today,
a village.
right? Huh?
Almost a village.
Almost a village.
Yes.
So how did that journey happen for you?
No, thanks, Vani. Just to share with you all, I come from almost a village town from Jharkhand. As I grew up, I didn't know how to speak English. Till class 10th, I could, most of the subjects I learned were in Hindi. And that's how I grew up. But, somehow I think I always found, inhibitions and shortcomings, I would say, very, very challenging. And, I thought I must take on those challenges. So I always knew that I have to improve upon it. I actually took a leap of faith, asked my father, and I must say that my father and my husband have, been the wings, the wind behind my wings. So, and I come from a family which could not really afford to send me out for education. But yeah, he did agree. And for many of you who may know about Sherwood, it's a prestigious school. I said I would want to go and get an admission there, and I went alone. I took admission in the 11th and 12th grade in my tutti-futti Hindi, English mixed. I could speak to the principal, and after a lot of conversation, actually that's another moment in my life I'll never forget how that worked out. But I took that admission, and yeah, I mean, from there on, I think I went on to do my honors in English literature from Delhi University. So that was one thing I took as a challenge upon myself, and I said I must prove it to myself that I can do it. And I'm in finance now, and I had no background of finance. As you can see that, I did my honors in English literature. So what happened was that I got married at the age of 20. I was not even a graduate by then. And as I said, my husband's been a very, very supportive partner, and these were some conditions of my marriage that, I would study further, I would work, and he's lived up to it. In fact, I didn't want to marry at that stage, and I told him that, I'm not going to be able to cook. I don't know how to cook. And he said, if I had to do that, I would keep a cook, but I don't want a cook. So, having said that, he's kept up to that promise all our life. And my husband's an investment banker. So there I was at home, not knowing the F of finance. But, here I am talking of literature and fiction. That's the only F probably I knew. I said, okay, I must do something about it. And, that's when I decided I'll join CA. So I took on, the CA route. I think within a few months, I realized that's where my heart lies. Of course, the inter results came, and I was on the All India merit list. So, from English literature to CA, and then I worked with EY for a couple of months before I joined ICICI. I've been here now for almost 25 years. And I think my love for finance, the love for what I'm doing has only grown over these years. A little late in life, but I think it was just a realization that this is where I belonged. So yeah, that's how really this journey happened for me.
So, Anubhuti, how we are limited by our own possibilities in our mind first. So, from literature to a finance expert, while I'm not a finance expert, from engineering to at least some level of finance, right? So, how do we unlock that switch to invest in yourself, invest in your own self-worth and that journey of many possibilities, right? So what turns that wheel?
So, when we, in fact, Konkana also spoke about invest in your own worth, I think, and fund your own worth. I think the beginning of it is to know your own worth. It's very, very important that we realize what we are bringing to the table. I have seen many, many women leaders in my life. I worked very closely with many of them at ICICI, and today I myself lead a large business. I sit on a couple of boards of our subsidiaries like ICICI Prudential Mutual Fund and ICICI Securities also. And I don't sit there because I'm a woman. I'm not sitting on the woman's seat is very important for me. And I think that, we need to be very, very conscious that that's the worth you are bringing to the table. And therefore, it's very important that we know, what we are worth. I would say women leaders in general, they really correlate to what their companies want, what their teams want, and what they want. It is very important that we talk about what we want to achieve, and express ourselves. The whole fact that many a times we don't declare what our goals are. I'm not talking of being ambitious, but what is it that we've set out to do? I think it's very important. It's very important that we talk about it. In the process, we may need mentors, sponsors. Mentors, while they can be used as more of a sounding board, sponsors are actually people who have the power and the knowledge to talk about you in your absence as well. So I think it's very difficult to build those kind of relationships, but we must, I would say, invest in building such relationships where you can have other people, and they can be, again, men, women, anybody in your life who you think you can speak to and have conversations about your own journey, about your own growth. I think it's very important that we do that. The other aspect of, I think, investing in your own worth is also networking. I think overall we must, I think, get out in these forums, talk about what we are doing, and I think we all need to do that. And of course, the finance aspect of it, knowing finances is another piece which is very important, I think.
Anubhuti, having a somewhat of a loan GP for a venture capital fund or a chief scientist for ISRO, which are outliers, is one thing. But at ICICI, sometimes you say what's in the water to just say what is so special. So somehow, magically, has institutionalized women in finance and women leaders, right? In fact, I think many of the senior women leaders that I know in India and I know in finance have some root into ICICI, right? So there is something institutionally. So it's not a question of how did Vani or Rohini or Taman or somebody become an outlier. Here it is institutionalized. So what can we learn from institutionalizing women leadership from you?
No, I would really, we pride ourselves in the fact that, we have approximately 30%, 33% of our, employee base is women. And to be honest, the only thing we do is provide an environment where women are, they feel like equals. I'll be very honest, we don't differentiate between women when we are hiring them. We don't hire somebody just because the person is a woman. We don't promote somebody because the person is a woman. It's always based on meritocracy. And when you encourage an environment which is so equal, women naturally bring their best to the table. They are never feel, they never feel that they are being undermined in any manner. So I think that is one basic thing that we do, that we don't have an environment where we differentiate between men and women at all to begin with. Having said that, I think we are very, very conscious of the life stage needs of women. And, we have seen that women, when they have a child, they usually want to move out of the workforce, or at a certain stage when they need to take care of older parents, etc. They are the ones who have to give up their jobs instead of the husband really moving out. I think we are very, very conscious of this, that, this is the time when we need to support them. So some of our policies regarding leave, travel companionship, we have some policies around it which are quite liberal. And we ensure that we make people comfortable at this stage of their life. And I must talk about myself because I know some of you spoke about issues around taking care of your child when the child was born and you had to go back to work. Breastfeeding was an issue. I myself, when my daughter was born, I went back to work in 1.5 months. I had, we had policies around maternity leave and paternity leave way before it all became a regulation. And I think I had a 6-month period, but I went back to work in 1.5 because I was so comfortable and I actually wanted to get back to work because, I was okay to work with with an office next to my house. It was five minutes away from my home, and I could come back home, take care of the child. Sometimes the child came in the car to the office. So I think we just give that sort of flexibility to women where it becomes, much easier for us to see through that life stage. And, also I would say that the year I had my daughter, within 3 months I had my promotion. So, it's never, so I went through the pregnancy, which was not so easy. I had the childbirth, but of course I took very, very little leave, I must say, in the entire period. And I didn't have to suffer in any way, is how I...
So you're a woman in finance, but I want to talk about finance in a different way. One of my pet peeves is financial literacy for women. They may have a career, they may even earn a lot of money, but let's just ask a question. How many of you operate, not have a demat account, but operate your own demat account? So, maybe 10%, it looks like, right?
Yeah.
So I think the financial literacy just ingrained out of love, maybe even, right? Not out of any bad intention. Your father takes care of it, your brother takes care of it, your husband takes care of it. But almost, I think it would feel sacrilegious to say, I don't want a joint account, I want my own account, I want to own my own financial outcomes, right? So how do we improve financial literacy in women? And why is it important anyway? Am I barking the wrong tree?
No, I think it's very, very important, and and it's never too late, as you can see from my own example. It's never too late to understand finance. As I said, till I was a graduate, I didn't know what a debit, credit meant, what shares were, what a balance sheet was. I mean, these were things I just didn't know of till I was 21 at least. So it's never too late to learn about this. Having said that, our mothers, grandmothers, they always did money management, but they were limited to the expense part of, of the entire process, yes. But we as women have come a long way. We are, we are now, in fact, earning. We are adding to the revenues of the family. However, somewhere we still have a dependence on the male member of the family to manage our finances. And we are somehow quite hesitant in talking about finances, investments. You go to a party and you'll never see a woman talking about how the markets are doing, or where to invest, what are the good opportunities these days. You never ever see that. And I often find myself very, very lonely in that space, because when I get out there and I'm meeting some of these PE friends and all, and I'm discussing with them, how's work and how are things, and they're what does market look like, where's the economy, where are you seeing dollar rupee rate, where are you seeing interest rates. And, and I see the rest of the women are sitting in one corner. I think, we need to get out there. We need to understand that financial independence is not about having a net worth. It is also about, making the right choices with what you want to do with your money, knowing what you are doing with your money, how it's going to come handy when you need it. And, nobody knows the future. We all need to be independent in terms of our own financial planning, in terms of our own, understanding of where we are. So, how do we manage our wealth? How do we prepare for our life stage needs? At what stage of life I am based on my profile, what is my risk profile, whether I should be investing in X, Y, or Z. So I think financial independence to me is much beyond having your own net worth, your own money. It is about knowing and investing wisely. It is about saving and having more demat accounts in this room, I would say.
Just a personal story, Anubhuti, you at least started early. I only started in my 30s, as much as that might be surprising. It's not that I wasn't earning a lot of money. I was earning a lot of money, but never really paid attention. And in fact, coming from a certain kind of a South Indian family, it was almost like, oh, I'm beyond money. That's until you don't have money. And in 2000, when the whole internet bubble crashed, I realized how empty and stupid that is, and that you should know where your money is and how to be smart about it. So I would advise all of you are most likely younger than me to just be very self-aware of money. Money is power, not just because you're slave to the money, but it allows you the freedom to do many things that you want to do. It's a means to an end. It's not the end, but it is the means, and it's important. But maybe there are ways in which ICICI can do some workshops or whatever that we can all achieve that. But I want to kind of bring out, switch gears here. While it all sounds easy, right? Coming from Jharkhand and going to that school and finding the perfect partner, landing in ICICI and being here today, we know that, it's like watching someone in Olympics or whatever land that great, kick or that great goal or something, but there's years of heartache, heartburn, challenges. So what has been sort of your advice or your hacks or your mantras to overcome your own hurdles?
So, I think a couple of things. We should look for jobs which are challenging. And in fact, we should say yes to taking on challenges much faster as women. There's a survey which says that men usually say yes to a job when they feel they are 60% ready to do it. Women want to be a lot more sure. They need to be 90% sure to be able to say yes to the same work. I think we as women need to get out there, take on more challenges, take on more risks, of course, calculated risks. And I think that is where, I would think we should see more women coming in. And that is what I have done. I have done roles from technology to, running the operations of the bank and customer service of the bank to now I'm running business. So I think, we need to take those challenges. I mean, I was thrown into treasury, with a day's notice, and before that I was handling technology. So from technology, one T to another T, and treasury is the toughest. Treasury is a very different T, and it is the toughest part of banking and finance. I can tell you, suddenly you're talking of derivatives and mark-to-markets and the valuation models and all. So, but it's fine. I took on that challenge, and I think I came out a winner. So I think all of us need to invest in those challenges, and that's my advice. Take risks, be game for things which you feel you can't do, but you can try.
Thank you so much, Anubhuti. And again, thank you for becoming a part of our community here through this initiative.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy we are here, Vani.
Thank you.
Thank you all.